Hi everyone. Welcome back to Family Tales, the channel where real family secrets, betrayals, and unexpected justice come to light. If you're new here, I share true stories from people who faced the darkest sides of family and found their way back to peace. So, if you believe blood doesn't always mean loyalty, smash that like button, subscribe, and hit the bell. Because today's story, it'll break your heart and then put it back together. Hi, my name is Morgan. I'm 28, and I work as a graphic designer in Portland, Oregon. I've always been the quiet one in my family, the one who listens more than she speaks, who fades into the background so others can shine. My older sister, Lena, has always been the opposite. Charismatic, bold, the kind of person who walks into a room and owns it without trying. She's the golden child, the one who got straight A's, dated the quarterback, and married her college sweetheart right on schedule. I love her. Or, I did. We were close growing up, shared a room until I was 14. She taught me how to braid my hair, how to stand up to bullies, how to dance in the kitchen when no one was watching. But somewhere in our 20s, things shifted. Not dramatically, just slowly, like sand slipping through fingers. She got engaged 2 years ago to Daniel, a real estate developer from Chicago. Sweet guy, polished, always seemed to have it together. The kind of man who remembers your coffee order and calls your parents on their birthday. I was genuinely happy for them. At first. The trouble started when Lena asked me to be her maid of honor. I said yes, instantly. Tears in my eyes, heart full. But then came the conditions. No +1, she said over brunch one Sunday. It's a small wedding. Super intimate. Just immediate family and close friends. I nodded. Fair enough. I wasn't dating anyone serious anyway. But then she added, almost casually, "Oh, and don't wear anything too flashy. We're going for soft neutrals." You know how people stare at you when you wear red. I blinked. People don't stare at me. She laughed. Come on, Morgan. You're gorgeous. You walk in a room and heads turn. It's just a lot sometimes. I didn't know what to say, so I said nothing. Over the next year, I watched as the guest list grew, from 80 to 150 to nearly 200. Lena invited coworkers, college roommates, even Daniel's cousin's fiancé. But when I gently asked if maybe I could bring my best friend from work, just as a buffer, she shut me down. Morgan, it's not about buffering. It's about aesthetic. You'll be fine on your own. You always are. The words stung, but I swallowed them. She's stressed. It's her day. Don't make it about you. Still, a quiet dread settled in my chest. The wedding was held at a vineyard in Napa Valley. Rolling hills, fairy lights, $250 a plate catering. Lena had spared no expense. Her dress cost more than my car. The flowers were flown in from Holland. I flew in 2 days early, stayed at the group hotel, and helped with setup. I pinned her veil, held her bouquet, even calmed her down when she had a panic attack over the cake topper. And all I asked in return was to not be invisible. But on the morning of the ceremony, I opened my seating chart envelope, and my stomach dropped. My name wasn't at table 3 with Mom, Dad, and the rest of the family. It wasn't even at table 7 with the other bridesmaids. I was at table 12, labeled Friends of the Groom, and I was the only person listed. I shilled the card to one of the bridesmaids, Sarah, who winced. "Oh, yeah. Lena said she didn't want you at the family table because, well, you know." "Because what?" She lowered her voice. "She said you draw too much attention, that people kept asking who the stunning girl in the back was. She didn't want anyone wondering why her sister looked more like a movie star than the bride." I laughed, a dry, broken sound. "So she exiled me?" She said it was logistics. I wanted to cry, but I didn't, because crying would mean she won, and I was done letting her win. I put on the taupe dress she'd approved, boring, shapeless, the color of dust, and walked into the reception alone. The ceremony was beautiful. Lena glowed. Daniel cried when he saw her. Everyone clapped. Everyone hugged. Everyone belonged. Then came cocktail hour. I stood near the edge of the terrace, sipping sparkling water, watching families cluster together, friends laughing, couples slow dancing to acoustic covers. I felt like a ghost, present but unseen. At dinner, I found my table. One chair, one plate, one glass. The other guests at table 12 were polite but distant. Daniel's old fraternity brothers and their wives, who barely glanced my way when the DJ announced the first dance. They all got up and left me behind. That's when the waiter came. "Ma'am, are you dining alone?" I nodded, throat tight. "Just checking. We'll bring your entree in 5. He walked away, and I stared at my hands, fighting tears. Why did I come? I should have stayed home, saved the money, spared myself this. I was about to text a rideshare and disappear into the California night, when a man in a navy suit pulled out the chair across from me. He was tall, early 30s, with warm brown eyes and a calm presence. He set down a glass of whiskey and smiled. "Hey, sorry I'm late. Traffic was awful." He glanced around, then leaned in slightly. "You look stunning, by the way." I frowned. "Do I know you?" He gave a small, knowing smile. "Not yet, but if you play along, no one else will know that either." Then he said the words that changed everything. "Don't worry. Just act like you're with me." I stared at him. "Why would you do that?" He shrugged. "Because I saw you sitting here alone, while everyone else was celebrating. And that's not right. Not on a day like this." Something in his voice, gentle, firm, utterly sincere, made me believe him. So I nodded. "Okay." He extended his hand. "Eli, Morgan." He grinned. "Nice to finally meet you, Morgan." And just like that, I wasn't alone anymore. For the next hour, Eli played the part perfectly. He asked about my work, laughed at my dry jokes, told me he was Daniel's second cousin, twice removed, so basically a stranger, but family enough to get an invite. He even danced with me during the next slow song, his hand warm on my back, his steps steady and sure. "You're a great dancer," I said, surprised. "Nah," he smiled. "You just make it easy." At one point, Lena walked by with Daniel, and her eyes narrowed slightly when she saw us together. But Eli just raised his glass to her with a warm smile. And she moved on, confused but unable to question it. Later, during toasts, Daniel's uncle stood up and said, "To Lena and Daniel, the perfect couple, and to all the love that brought us here tonight." Eli leaned over and whispered, "Love didn't bring you here. Loyalty did. That's even rarer." I felt tears prick my eyes. After dessert, he walked me outside to the garden. "You don't have to go back in if you don't want to," he said. "I can tell them you weren't feeling well." I shook my head. "I need to stay. For my parents, for appearances." He nodded. "Then I'll stay with you." We sat on a stone bench, watching fireflies blink in the dusk. And for the first time all day, I felt safe. "Why did you really do this?" I asked quietly. He was silent for a moment. "My sister cut me out of her wedding 10 years ago. Said I ruined the vibe because I was going through a divorce. I sat alone too. I swore if I ever saw someone in that position again, I'd be your person for the night." My breath caught. "Thank you." He smiled. "No thanks needed. You deserve to be seen tonight, not hidden." The reception ended at 11 p.m. As guests began to leave, Lena finally approached me. "Who was that guy you were with?" she asked, arms crossed. "Eli, Daniel's cousin." "He's not Daniel's cousin. Twice removed, you wouldn't know him." She studied me. "You looked happy." "I was," I said simply. She hesitated. "I didn't mean for you to feel left out." "You didn't mean to," I repeated. "But you did." She looked away. "It's just, your presence is a lot. People kept staring at you during the ceremony." I took a deep breath. "Lena, I wore the dress you picked. I didn't bring a date. I helped plan your bachelorette. I held your hair back when you got sick from champagne. All I asked was to not be treated like an afterthought." She didn't apologize, but she didn't argue either. That night, I flew home. Eli texted once, "Hope you got home safe. You deserve a sister who sees you, not hides you." I never saw him again, but I'll never forget him. A month later, something unexpected happened. Lena called me, voice quiet. "I've been thinking about the wedding." "Oh?" I showed Mom the photos. She pointed out how alone you looked at that table. She said it broke her heart. I stayed silent. "I think I was jealous," she admitted. "You've always been so effortlessly beautiful. And that day, I wanted to be the only one shining." "I wasn't trying to outshine you," I said softly. "I just wanted to be your sister." "I know," she whispered. "I'm sorry." It wasn't a perfect apology, but it was a start. We've been rebuilding slowly since then. She came to Portland last fall. We went to a cafe, just the two of us, and talked for hours. About childhood, about insecurity, about how women are taught to see each other as competition instead of allies. Last week, she sent me a photo. It was from her wedding album. Me and Eli, dancing under the lights, both of us smiling like we belonged. On the back, she'd written, "Turns out, you were the most beautiful part of my wedding. I just didn't know it at the time." I keep that photo on my desk now, not as a reminder of the pain, but as proof that sometimes, when you're at your lowest, the universe sends you a stranger who says, "Act like you're with me." And in that moment, you remember, you are never truly alone. Because kindness exists, even in the unlikeliest places. And sometimes, all it takes is one person seeing you to help you see yourself again.